What's happening, gang? Truth Nation back. Another installment here. Tuesday at 10 a.m. I'm sorry, Thursday. Boy, that would be nice. Knowing the day of the week would be a helpful part of the show.
Wow.
Thursday, 10 a.m., gang. And we'll obviously catch you back here next week as well, as we do every week. This week, though, a special treat. Third-time reigning champion Kevin Cadora in the hot seat from faircadora.com. Kevin, of course, is a family law attorney. And as he likes to say, he's a lover, not a fighter. But he will duke it out if he needs to.
Got to sometimes.
And, gang, if you missed the first three segments, man, Kevin was on fire. Dropped some old school John Benet Ramsey, some Stephen Avery making a murderer, even got into a little Law and Order and some of his favorite TV shows, Why to Watch, Why to Not. But this, I want to get a little more maybe direct or personal for you.
Sure.
Dun, dun, dun. You see the millionaire lights shining on you there a little bit? I did. So what are some real-life experiences, maybe if you could grab one or two that sort of changed you the most and tell the truth about those?
Sure. A couple that definitely stand out was when my life was threatened. Yeah, and that's happened.
That's an attention getter.
That is an attention getter, especially when they say that I'm going to kill you and your family.
Oh, yum.
And, you know, at first...
How long ago was this?
I mean, it's happened 3-4 times now over 13 years. So the last time was 2.5 years ago. And I'll go back to the first time. I remember it as clear as day. I was in some negotiations, and after the negotiations, the other side came up to me, and their attorney walked off, and he whispered in my ear, "I'm going to kill you," with some expletives in there.
Yeah, it sounded like it was about to.
Yeah, I almost slipped there. I apologize.
Yeah.
And I'm going to kill you, expletive, and your family. And I remember standing there, and it was surreal. I mean, I was like, and I was a young attorney. I think it was I was 3 years out from the bar. So I was in my early 30s, and this person had threatened to kill me and my family, and it sounded serious. And, I mean, since then, my skin has thickened. Like I said, it's happened several times since then. And it's family law. And I know family law is about good people at their worst. And I didn't know that then. I wish I did, but I know that now.
So what do you do when someone does that to you?
I went and I told his attorney. And I was like, you know, keep your client in line. Otherwise, I'm going to go in and I'm going to get a restraining order against him, and you know, so forth and so on. And you know, and their attorney was like, "Oh, well, he didn't really mean it," and this, that, and the other. And you learn, you know, you take it with a grain of salt, and it thickens you up. And
but that's I mean, like I get it. Like you don't want to walk around with thumbtacks on the floor. Otherwise, you'll never get anywhere. You'll never be able to move. But at the same time, like, that's also the same stuff we kind of hear about, like, when there's a terrorist attack. Yeah. You know, and like, well, what do you mean? The guy said he was going to do it. You're like, okay, but we're filtering through 500 of those a day. Like, you know, how do you know which one to take seriously and which, you know what I mean? Like, there's that kind of pacification that goes on with that. But I don't know, man. I don't know about just let it roll off your shoulder.
The second and the third time, it was in court, not in the courtroom, but it was outside of court. I told a bailiff, and the guy was arrested. So, you know, and you know, nothing came of it. I mean, they released him.
What's the charge when someone says they're gonna?
It's a terrorist threat, or it could be assault, which is a threat, a verbal threat of bodily harm. But no charges were brought. I mean, because, you know, I deal with, like I said, good people at their worst. I understand that they're not, I mean, at least I think I understand that they're not going to come and actually go and kill me. But you never know. I mean, you see some instances on TV where that actually happens. So, but those were some turning points in my career. And the other one was when I was walking out of court. Luckily, it was cold coffee. They threw it in my face. The other side threw it in my face.
That's assault.
That was assault, and they were arrested. And you know, that was, again, it's like, it toughens you up big time. It makes you, I don't want to say cynical, because I do have passion for what I do. I'm very passionate, and I am compassionate. But there are moments where you kind of like lose hope in humanity when things like that happen. And it
sounds like all those instances happen in what you might refer to as a red zone. So it's like you can almost sort of toughen up during those moments to know that there's maybe some bad stuff said.
Yeah. And I mean, I've had I was in a DV trial, domestic violence trial once, and the other side was sitting next to me, or sitting across from the podium from me, and he actually attempted to jump over counsel's table and try to stab the other side. During a domestic...
Your client?
Yeah, my client, who's the victim, and they're the perpetrator.
They were in the place with a knife?
No, there was a pen.
Oh, wow.
There was a pen on the table. Now that the court has these little pencils that you really can't hold. But I remember that, and... a little tidbit for whoever is listening, don't jump over counsel's table and try to stab the other side when you're in a DV trial, because you'll lose and you'll go to jail.
Imagine that.
I mean, the bailiff just, boom, jumped on them, and then they were off, and the DV, or the domestic violence restraining order, was granted for 3 years. And I mean, I've been attacked in court when I was done cross-examining somebody. Again, it was a highly contested custody dispute, and I cross-examined this individual, and I got her to lie on the stand, and she admitted that she's lying, and she lost custody of her kids, and she knew she was going to lose custody of her kids. She jumped over and tried to tackle me in open court. Because of the cross-examination that I did. And, of course, the bailiff saw it coming, actually. She didn't even touch me, but the bailiff actually tackled her before she actually got to me. But
you're like, no further questions. He's like, I got a question.
Yeah, it was like, she didn't even say anything. I was just like, nothing further, Your Honor. I turned around, and I just heard this, and the bailiff jumped on her, and it was, yeah.
Wow.
That's
sad, man.
It's sad because, again, I know these are probably good people at their worst, and it's like, you almost feel sorry for them.
Yeah.
Because, you look at them and, you're actually like thankful that that's not me.
What's the one thing you want to leave Truth Nation with now for your third-time champion reigning? We're going to walk out with the belt. Okay, that's a given. Okay, all the votes are already in. And you drop some knowledge here. You kind of danced around the horn pretty comprehensively. What do you want to leave with Truth Nation?
Well, I think that term you just used, knowledge, I think is critical. I think it's critical in every aspect of our lives, in everything that's going on in our country, everything that's going on in the world. I think knowledge is what separates people. And I think obtaining knowledge, attaining that sage advice from someone who's competent, who is compassionate, who is aggressive yet reasonable. It's one of our slogans. Is very, very important. And what I want people,
aggressive yet reasonable. It's good.
Yeah, I want people to take away from this that if you need advice, if you need guidance, contact someone you trust. Contact an attorney you trust, because nothing is worse than someone who lacks the knowledge and then makes decisions based on that lack of knowledge.
That's exactly, gang, why you want to get your hands, well, maybe not actually physically, but
please don't.
Yeah, metaphorically speaking, with Kevin Cadora and his wife over at faircadora.com, or you can call him at 619-255-8500. Kevin, thank you so much for coming in.
Pleasure
leaving us
being
a
here.
little better than how you found you. And gang, we'll be back next week, same bat time, same bat channel. Thank you, Engineer Jeff and Truth Nation. Peace out.